Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of the Nobody Asked for This podcast. Yes, this is our Thanksgiving episode. So this is Christmas, and what have you done? I know it's not Christmas, but there's not really like a Thanksgiving song. For anyone who lives in other countries, let me explain. For some reason, Canada has decided that our Thanksgiving is basically in the summer, beginning of October, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because I feel like, October should be for Halloween, like let Halloween have its moment, and then November can be for Thanksgiving, December, obviously Christmas. Now, since December or November is clear of Thanksgiving, unlike in the States, November becomes Christmas, so like November 1st to honestly like midway through January is Christmas time. Oh no. Okay, this was not a planned topic to talk about, but I just got the deadly notification. iPhone storage full. Let's take a moment. You can free up space on this iPhone by managing your storage and settings. Okay, so they always tell you that, but anytime I go to settings, like I'm not able to delete anything. So what is this? I'm actually glad I was with you all when I got this notification because it can be quite disturbing and a hard time, because once you're in this mode of your iPhone is out of storage, you're kind of screwed, because every like few days you have to go in and start like deleting pictures or deleting apps that you don't really use, but you're never getting out of it. It's not like you get this notification once, you delete like hundreds of gigabytes, and then you're good for the next 3 years. Yikes. If anyone at Apple would like to send me a new phone, because I pretty much need a new one now, that would be much appreciated. Let's see how my storage breakdown is. I'll get back to Thanksgiving. We didn't forget about you, but one sec. Before we give thanks, we have to do a little bit of complaining. Okay, so just in honor of transparency, I have the 256 gigabyte iPhone. Someone tell me how my first phone was 8 gigabytes. And I was able to work off that, but 256 is a problem. Okay, we got 93 gigabytes of music, 16 gigabytes of YouTube. I don't know what that means. I don't know how that happens. 14 gigabytes of messages. Wait, do I have friends? That's exciting. Audible, 10 gigabytes. I'm pretty sure the only audibles I have audiobooks are textbooks I didn't want to read from school. Okay, only 9 gigabytes of photos. That kind of makes sense. Okay, and then there's a stupid thing here. Oh, voice memos, that's you all. 1.68 gigabytes. And then there's just one that says on my iPhone. 2 gigabytes. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I really don't use these. Okay, I think there's a way out. I don't think it's all for naught. I mean, 100 gigabytes of music is quite a lot. Especially when I just listen to the Barney theme song most of the time. Anyway, yes, back to Thanksgiving. I don't know. I think I've looked into this before. I don't think many other countries do Thanksgiving. So really the date of it being too early, in my opinion, is not really something most people can relate to. I'm pretty sure the States had it, and then Canada was like, well, we're right next to you, so we can do that too. Anything you can do, we can do better type thing. So they said, we're going to give you... Do you know what I actually think it was? I was going through the months, and each day, in each month, there's like a bank holiday. Like January, it's New Year's. February, we have something that I can't remember. March is... Well, there's like spring break in March, usually. April, we got Easter, unless Easter's in March that year, which that whole thing makes no sense to me. May, we got Queen Victoria Day. May she rest. I wonder if we're going to get Queen Elizabeth Day. June, I don't know if there's one in June. July, Canada Day. In America, like their Independence Day. August, there's something else. September, now we got the Queen. And then October, there was nothing, so they needed to give us a day. And they said, we'll give thanks on that day. So in honor of the holiday, I am going to give a list of just things I'm thankful for. I do a lot of complaining. As you know, I believe the last episode was very complaint-centric, but the whole podcast could really be called Listen to Me Complain for half an hour each week. So I was thinking, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'm going to take an episode off of complaining and get into some things that I'm thankful for, okay? So I encourage you to do the same, close your eyes, maybe do a meditation, do a guided meditation. Did anyone have to do guided meditations at school? And it was always in the most random classes. It was like either PE or English. You'd have to all sit down, or if you were in the gym, lay down, and the teacher would read a thing, and it's like, imagine you're on a beach, imagine you, and then they're like, imagine your happy spot. I'm like, literally anywhere but here. Hated gym class. And then it was like, you're floating away. I was very confused at what part of the curriculum that was targeted towards. And that might have just been my school. So, apologies if I sound like a nut. But, it's just my journey, okay? But yes, things I'm grateful for. I made a list here. I did some prep work for this. And I'm gonna pull it up, okay? We're gonna get into it. Number one, I'm grateful for anyone that listens to this. So there might be 2 of you, there might be 3 of you, there might be 1.5 of you, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful to get to do this. And by get to do this, I mean, I guess I just tell myself to do it and then I do it, And next year, hopefully I'll be grateful for the millions that I've made off of this. But for right now, we're going to stay humble, grateful for the opportunity. Okay, next, modern day appliances. I was just sort of reflecting on, everything I have, and I can't imagine what it's like to not have, running water, a dishwasher, a laundry machine. I can't imagine having to do all of those things. Actually, I can imagine it because at a certain point, each of those appliances has broken in my environment. So I've had to see what happens when you don't have those things, and it's bleak. It's not fun. So I'm very thankful for that. I am thankful for fast food delivery services, aka an Uber Eats, a Skip the Dishes. I vaguely remember a time when if you wanted food, you'd have to get into a car and go through the drive-through, or God forbid, get out of the car and wait in a real people lineup. Terrible. Although, does anyone notice, I swear to you, Skip the Dishes, they invented inflation. I'll look at the breakdown. When you go, you'll add in your order. I'll say, 6 chicken nuggets, 2 Big Macs, 4 hamburgers, 8 cheeseburgers, and then whatever anyone else I'm meeting with is ordering. I'll go to my checkout, and it's your total, okay. I see how that got there. I very much added all those burgers into my cart. Tax, okay, sure, fine. Delivery, it makes sense. Tip, absolutely. And then I add all those numbers together, and it's $10 to $15 less than the total that they're actually giving me. I swear they're just adding random fees that they're not being honest about. So again, I know this started off as being grateful and I somehow got to complaining. I knew that I would. But I think we just got to look into that. If anything, I just want the people at Skip the Dishes to know, we see you. We love you, but we see you. That's all I'm saying. Okay, before we get too complaining, on to the next. I am grateful for my phone's microphone. I truly do not know where I would be without it. Actually, I do know, because that's how I recorded the first couple episodes of the podcast. I had to lug around all these equipment and headphones and the computer connector cables, 8 different adapters. Love you, Apple, shout out. And thankfully, I don't have to do it anymore. Now, the funny thing is, if you go back and listen to those first few episodes, which I recommend that you do, because that was when we were at peak production, peak preparedness, peak, having an outline. They actually, audio quality-wise, don't sound as good as just my regular phone. Now, at the beginning of this episode, as you remember, this has been threatened because I got that deadly iPhone storage notification thing. So I'm actually a little bit worried about the future, what the future holds. Tell us the future is not friendly, but we're going to work it out. So for the time being, I'm grateful for the iPhone microphone that I currently have. Thank you, Steve Jobs. Rest. Okay, what's next on my list? Okay, so this one is a little bit, let me just explain, okay? Don't take this the wrong way, because I always have to bring it back to the Royals one way or another. I am grateful that we're no longer in a state, I have to word this very carefully, in a state of not knowing when Queenship III would take over. Because I think the past few years, Lizzie Liz, rest in peace, she was getting up there. And it's like every birthday that would pass, I'm like, okay, I took biology. Actually, I didn't take biology, but I know enough about biology to know that, people in their 90s, not exactly, maybe your best years are behind you, if you know what I'm saying. So to no longer have to wonder when queenship was going to ascend is, it's, sad, but there's a level of peace. So, I don't want to say I'm grateful, but it's less questions. Okay, moving on. I am grateful that Amazon carries a almost kilogram size bag of candy corn. Now, candy corn is very controversial. It's probably the most controversial topic I will get into today, even though I did, in a roundabout way, add Queen Elizabeth's croaking as a something to be grateful for. Again, please listen to my reasoning of that. But yeah, candy corn, for whatever reason, people do not like it. And I don't understand, because it's not like it has like a flavor. Like, perfect example, I like black licorice. A lot of people do not like black licorice, but I can understand why people don't like it, because it has like a stronger flavor. Like if it's a flavor that you're not used to, that makes sense. But candy corn is essentially just sugar. So I'm not understanding why people don't like it. Like what, like I get it has like a chalky texture to it that I guess you could not like, but like it's just sugar. Also, I would just like to explain my purchase here. For whatever reason in Canada, candy corn is not as accessible. It's not as easy to find. I guess their reasoning could be like, listen, we're giving you idiots universal health care. We're not going to let you have candy corn and mess that all up. Like we're not going to make you put pressure on the system so that you can have a tri-colored candy delight every Halloween season. So it like you can find it, but when you do find it, it's like actually $6 for like a little amount. So I think I got like almost a kilogram for like $17. Free shipping, next day delivery off Amazon. It was on Prime. Not bad. Actually, just for our international listeners, I'm going to Google what the conversion for that is. It was actually 900 grams, I'll be honest. 900 grams to pounds. I think that's like 2 pounds. Grams to pounds. Yeah, 1.984. I'm a freaking calculator. Almost 2 pounds. Almost 2 pounds of candy corn. $17. Not bad. And I will say, sorry, I'm just taking a sip of my coffee. I was able to find it at like a regular supermarket, but it was in the bulk section. And I don't know, I just don't feel like we've evolved enough out of the COVID-19s to participate in bulk food, like just yet. Like maybe give me another year, maybe next year we'll go. And I'll just get a little bit of everything, and it'll be like it was 2015, not caring about germs. And I do think we are getting there, but we're just not there quite yet. So yes, I had to, basically forced to buy 900 grams of candy corn on Amazon, and I will give a full review of that, of the unbox. I'll do an unboxing video of my candy corn. I'll like hold it up and then have to put my hand behind it so it can focus in the lens. I know a lot of people on YouTube like to do that, where it's like they put the thing in like directly in front of the camera, and then to focus it, they would just put their hand on the back. I'll do that. I was a little bit concerned about it being like all kind of smushed together and melted. Although I did a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and I decided that if worse comes to worse, the candy corn comes, they should do a candy corn flavored candy cane. Someone write that down. But I guess what season would that be for? We'll work it out in the business meetings. But I was willing to sacrifice the $15 for the opportunity to have candy corn. That was a necessary risk, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm worried that it's going to come all crumpled because, for whatever reason, someone forgot to tell the sky that it's fall. Because where I am, it's like fully like 20, close to 25 degrees. Again, I'm going to do the international comparison. I think that's like around 80 Celsius to Fahrenheit. I'm a genius. 25 Celsius is 77 Fahrenheit. So it's actually like summer weather. And I don't like it. Like the other day, I was trying to have like my hoodie on and my sweatpants. I usually wear a hoodie like year round, but the sweatpants, the top half of my outfit is always a hoodie. The bottom half changes with the seasons. Sometimes it's shorts, sometimes it's like pajamas, and other times it is like sweatpants. So I looked at the clock. The date. I believe it was October 1st. I was like, we can pull off sweatpants. 20 minutes later, I was sweating. So I know this is a Thanksgiving episode. I wasn't supposed to complain, but I don't understand why that is happening to me. I know it's happening to everyone, but I take it very personally because I've been waiting for months for the cold weather. Like, I don't even think we've had rain. It's kind of ridiculous. And again, this just shows that I can complain about anything because I'm complaining that it hasn't rained. You know what? To offset this complaining, I'm going to add another thing I'm thankful for. So I'm thankful for iced coffee. Whoever figured out that you can put coffee on ice, I appreciate you because, hot coffee, it's actually funny. Hot coffee tastes more like coffee than iced coffee for whatever reason, but like, any sort of hot beverage, it like burns my tongue. And I've talked about this before, how I think we need to start making food and drinks like the temperature at which you can eat them, not like 50 degrees hotter. For international calculations, I think that's like 10 degrees hotter in Fahrenheit. Or in Celsius, because like I have no patience. Similar to when, you're making a thing of cookies and it says, let the dough sit for an hour or let the, pumpkin bread rest for 30 minutes. Like that's not happening. I'm not doing that. So really having to wait for my coffee to be drinkable temperature or my food to be edible temperature. I've been told eatable is not a word. It's just an exercise in patience that I don't have. I'm working on it, but I'm not there yet. So I'm grateful for iced coffee. Even in the winter, which I've said this argument before, but everyone looks at me weird when I have an iced coffee in February. Although given the chaoticness of this current winter season or fall season, maybe we'll be like going to the beach in February because the weather is just all confused. It's 25 in October, as I've mentioned, but getting an iced coffee is no different than getting, a Coca-Cola from McDonald's with ice in it, which everybody does year round. No one looks at you weird for that. And I know I've made this point before, but anytime it comes up, I just have to touch on it because it's true. I'm gonna spearhead a movement of anti-judgment for cold drinks in the winter. Okay. Anyway. I hope you enjoyed that moment of positivity, a rare moment of positivity from myself. I encourage everybody to, embrace the spirit of the Thanksgiving season, whether that's now or next month. Just really, really stop and reflect and give thanks. Because and to be completely honest, like I have been trying to be more, positive. And I think that this podcast is a great way for me to be negative in a funny way, so I can kind of get all my negativity out with hopefully some humor to it, so I can be a little bit more positive in, the other 6 days, 23 hours, and 30 minutes that I exist in a week. Just speaking of Thanksgiving, I would like to do some sort of a ranking system of my favorite or least favorite Thanksgiving dishes. So I will just give a warning up at the front. We might get into some negativity. But it's all in jest. So I'm just gonna maybe not rank them. I'm just gonna go down the list and just kind of give my thoughts on, some of the standards. Obviously, turkey's the main one. I have to say, I don't mind turkey, but if we could just figure out how to make it not so darn dry, that would be great. Because I feel like I've had it cooked by multiple different people, and it's always been good. Like, I've never had like, ooh, this turkey sucks, or oh, this is gonna give me salmonella poisoning, like this is raw. It's always good, but it's just like, how do you make it not dry? Like, who decided we need to have turkey on Thanksgiving? Because it doesn't feel like Thanksgiving or Christmas without it. I also have a problem with the fact that like it's literally the same food for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Like, we couldn't think of maybe like anything a little bit different. Like, maybe I know some people will do ham on either of those holidays, or like if they do turkey on one, they'll do ham on the next. We more go classic turkey, but like it's just so dry. Also, like, not the most seasoned thing that I've ever had. Like, I have to add my own like hot sauce and my own. I basically, the cooked turkey is half the job, and then I add like seasonings or whatever, because just bland food is not something that I would like to participate in. But it is just funny how, like, we really picked the driest thing possible. I don't mind a ham with like a sugar, like a maple brown sugar glaze. That sounds good. But like, it doesn't have that same oomph, as a turkey. Also, again, as I've been saying, it's so hot this year. Not so hot, but like hot enough that like, do we really want to have the oven on for 8 hours as you cook a turkey? I don't know. Like, the electricity that, like, turkeys aren't too expensive. They're actually like pretty reasonable, especially with the amount of food that you get, like the amount of people you can feed. But like, the oven cost, like the cost of gas or like electricity, depending on how your stove works, that can't be good. You're paying for that on the back end somewhere. I don't actually know what that means, but back end sounds like a business term. So it's all coming back on the back end. And in the case of the turkey, it's coming out on the back end as well. So turkey on a scale of 0 to 5 gobbles, I'm going to give it like a 3. 2 of those stars are for the tradition. 1 of the stars is for the seasoning and the hot sauce that I add on it that make it a 3. Okay, next. My favorite side dish, stuffing. I have to admit, I used to not like stuffing. I don't actually know why. I think I just might have been scared of it because I didn't like the idea that it was inside a raw turkey. And then we took it out and ate it. But then I thought about it and I was like, I guess if I eat turkey, like I'm eating the raw turkey, the turkey that was once raw. So I really just got to get over it. And I did. Now I have to say my favorite type of stuffing is from the box, stovetop, specifically the cornbread one. Now, you can do it either in the microwave or over the stove. I think on the instructions, they give you the option of butter or margarine. Always go for butter. I guess margarine's not too bad either, but I'm pretty sure that's like oils and stuff and not actual food. So if you're really going fancy with it, if you want to make your stovetop stuffing 5-star Michelin, whatever that means, just go for the butter. I mean, if you're going to do it, do it. So I like the cornbread one. I usually add like a chili flake or, again, hot sauce. Anything on hot sauce is good. Some sort of seasoning packet. And you're good to go. I've eaten a box of stovetop stuffing as a meal before. Like, side dish or not, like, well, let's just go for it. So that's 100% a 5. There's better stuffings than others, but it's a 5 for sure. Okay, next. This isn't really a side, but that cranberry sauce, love. We're going to give that a 4. Anytime I think of cranberry sauce, I think of a video I watched a few years ago, and it was a cooking tutorial by none other than Mama June. Now, if anyone doesn't know who Mama June is, she was Honey Boo Boo's mother. And if you don't know who Honey Boo Boo is, then I'm just going to let you live in that piece of not knowing who or what that show or that family is. Basically, I guess I will give a quick recap. Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. It was a show on TLC, obviously the greatest TV channel in the history of entertainment. They were a family. I think the Honey Boo Boo, she was the youngest kid in the family, and she was on like another TLC show, either like, I think like Toddlers and Tiaras, like she was in the pageants or whatever, and I guess she made enough of an impact that they gave her own show. And I think they lived, in Georgia, like next to a train of some sort. There wasn't really a premise to the show. It was just them kind of, eating interesting foods. It wasn't really a show that you could sit down and like enjoy a meal to, because they were like just like spreading mayo all over their kitchen floor and then doing like some sort of a slip and slide, and like they were like burping and doing armpit farts, eating cheese balls. It was quite anthropological watching it, because it's like the study of humans. It was just a type of living that I had never been exposed to, and I enjoyed it. It was a pretty good show. I think there was some controversy how it ended. I can't exactly remember. So this isn't like how we talk about the royal family. Similar, when we talk about this family, this is not an endorsement. It is what it is. But yeah, Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. I don't know if I recommend it fully or like would say don't watch it. It's one or the other. Like if my explanation of it sounded good to you, then I would say go for it. If it sounds gross, then it's probably not for you. Like, I don't think they're going to change hearts and minds by watching it, if that makes sense. So like, know your limit, play within it, I'm going to say, for that show. But why I bring it up is because I remember at some point they released a bunch of cooking tutorials from Mama June, and it was a lot of like canned tuna casserole and like butter beans and hot dogs in a dollar store pan, stuff like that, which, hey, no hate, but I remember one of them specifically was the canned cranberry sauce. Getting back to cranberry sauce, you know how they have like the jelly one that when you open it, it has like still the rings from the aluminum tin? There's that, and then there's like the more like, I guess, syrupy like sauce one as opposed to the jelly of the other one. She was like, I have this great dessert recipe, Honey Boo Boo loves it. And what it was is you get like, I think 4 or 5 of those cans, like the jellied ones. You cut it up and you do lasagna. So it's like a layer of the cut up, probably like an inch thick of the jelly. For international, I think that's like 3 centimeters of the jelly, maybe 6 centimeters. A layer of jelly, a layer of just pure sugar, a layer of jelly, pure sugar, and then you put it in the fridge for, I think, probably like a couple hours, and it sets, and it's like cranberry lasagna. Now, I did try this in probably the 7th grade, and it was very good. She knew what she was doing, that Mama June, but that, it just always reminds me of it. Anytime I see it in the store, I'm like, oh, Mama June's recipe. I don't know how this affects my ranking, but I'm going to say, yeah, I'm going to give it, honestly, a 5. It's not hard for me to give a 5 to stuff. I'm very, which we'll get to when we talk about our content recap, which I actually have this week, okay? Very, very exciting stuff. I'm actually doing the segments on my own podcast. That's, groundbreaking work. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 5. It tastes good on the stuffing. It tastes good on the turkey. It gives like a moisture to the turkey that, as I've talked about, is very necessary. Mashed potatoes, great. Gravy, obviously gravy's a 5. Everybody knows that. Specifically KFC gravy, very good. I recommend that. Give that a 6 out of 5. Give me a straw. Also, Popeye's gravy is really good. Gravy is one of those things that it's like not too hard to make, but the out of the can or out of like the package, like the powder package, like does the trick. It does just as well. So I think we've hit up the most. What's actually very underrated is the candied yams. I'm pretty sure this is pretty popular, where you have like the yams and sometimes you maybe put some pecans, or if you're really getting fancy, you put like the marshmallows, like you melt some marshmallows on it. And then if you're basically like, from the cordon bleu, you get your blowtorch and you like blowtorch. I've never actually done this or eaten this, but it looks good. You blowtorch like the top of the marshmallows. So it's like nice and crispy and crunchy, burnt to a crisp. Oof. Those are good. Given that a 5 as well. Have I given anything not a 5 besides bone-dry turkey? I don't think so. See, I'm very easy. I'm going to say it, I don't mind a Brussels sprouts with like a bacon or a pancetta if you want to get really fancy with it. Those are so good. And the good thing about Thanksgiving food is it really all like, you don't have to do like like in prison where they give you, not that I would know, obviously, where they give, allegedly, where they give you like the tray where everything's separated, like you're in preschool. You can really just mush it all together and just scoop it up. And if you get a Brussels sprout with a piece of turkey and some gravy with mashed potatoes, like that'll taste good. It all works together well. This harkens back to, I don't know if that harkens a word, but it harks back to the Starbucks sandwich, where they put all of those on a ciabatta bun, and it tastes amazing, and they, charge you $13, which I have to say I might have been a bit of an alarmist. I was under the impression that they were not bringing that sandwich back because I read somewhere in the States that they weren't bringing it back. But I did some further research and development. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, in the last episode, I was very fraught that the Christmas panini sandwich was not coming back to Starbucks because I had read that it wasn't. But the piece of literature that I had read that from was American, and they haven't had it in America for a few years. Whereas in Canada, where I am, they have had it. So we might have to hold off on sending the complaint emails and the search party for the turkey panini. It might not be necessary. So I'm glad I got to that. But yeah, Thanksgiving food, Christmas food, amazing. I love corn any time of the year, but specifically like if you get even one time I made this it was like a corn casserole thing, which sounds gross, but it was really good. It was like sweet, salty type of almost like a kettle corn situation, but it was like actual corn, not popcorn. Love that. We're going to give that a 4. The yams, again, we talked about a 5. Okay, the dessert. Obviously, you're going with a classic pie. Now, there are really 4 main types of pie. There's apple pie, pumpkin pie, pecan pie, and the fourth, and I think the best, sweet potato pie. Now, sweet potato pie in Canada is not as popular. You can't really find it in the grocery store. Actually, not even really. You can't find it. It basically doesn't exist here. However, I was in the States one time, and, something you might not be able to tell about me is I don't really get too excited about things. I do get excited, but I don't, flip out and start jumping up and down and, lose. I don't really lose it much, happy or sad. But one time, me and my friend walked into a Walmart, an American Walmart, and we were in the dessert section, which is the best section. And I looked down, and there was a sweet potato pie. I think it was Patty's sweet potato pie. I looked down, and I had heard about this pie, and I'd heard that it was good. And because I was I don't live anywhere where they sell this, I'm never going to get it. I had made peace with the fact that I was never going to try this pie. And I looked down and I saw it there, and I literally lost my sweet potatoes. I started jumping up and down as if you had told me on mile run day in high school that it was canceled and I didn't have to do it. I was ecstatic, espresso. I lost it. And I went home, I ate the entire thing. It was so good. And how I would describe it is it's like a pumpkin pie without the disgusting pumpkin taste. My thoughts on pumpkin pie are similar to my thoughts on the pumpkin spice latte. I forget that I don't like it, and then every year, October comes around, and I'm like, yeah, give me a piece of that pumpkin pie. And then I'm like, oh, this is kind of gross. Sweet potato pie, completely different experience. It's great. So I'm going to try and find a way to either make it or acquire a sweet potato pie for this holiday season. I might try and make it, and then I could do a whole recap of how maybe I'll do a vlog. I'll unbox my candy corn and do a vlog of me making sweet potato pie. But so I have to say sweet potato is my top, 5 out of 5, and that's just me trying it from a boxed version at Walmart America. So imagine a fresh one. Oof. Next, pecan, which you can buy here. It's basically just a sugar pie with pecans on the top. Stellar, with some ice cream, hot, out of the microwave. Perfect. Then apple. Well, maybe apple and pumpkin can share. Because I know I don't not like pumpkin pie, and if you put enough whipped cream on anything, it's going to taste good. So I will still eat it, but I would prefer a sweet potato pie. So yeah, basically, if you get anything out of this episode, if you at all can find a sweet potato pie, buy it and try it, because I promise, if you think you like pumpkin pie, you'll love it. You'll love it. So overall, I'm giving the Thanksgiving dinner, I think I covered all the major ones, a 4.8 out of 5. 4.8, what was it, gobbles out of 5. Love it. The 0.2 that we lost is just from the dryness of the turkey, which, I mean, who can help that? Okay, moving on. I promise you there will be a gup date, a Thanksgiving gup date next week. I can only imagine. I will only be so lucky to not have a Thanksgiving gup date after eating all this food. Because again, as I said, it all kind of mixes together nice. Like, it mixes together nice on the way down, on the way out. It mixes together in a way that is just so unforgiving. So I will give a full play-by-play on that. Especially when you add in like the candy corn that I'm going to buy, all 900 grams. It's not going to be nice. So either look forward to that or look forward to skipping the next episode if that's not what you're for. But I actually do have a recurring segment, as I mentioned before, that we can bring back, and it's the content recap. For some reason, the last month, I have been a book reader again. I've talked about before how sometimes I get into modes where I read like 15 books in a couple weeks, and then I won't read again for 6 months. For whatever reason, I was in a book reading mood the past month, and I read probably about 10 books. I have to say, wait, your package has been received. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. This is exciting. I think I got the merchant has received the following instructions. You guys, my candy corn is out for delivery. I'm getting all the notifications this morning. This is very exciting. Oh, also, I just have like a all points bulletin, a missing alert that I would like to send out. I ordered a phone case from AliExpress about 6 months ago, and I just got an email asking me how my delivery was and how I liked the product, I think $1.12 phone case. And I never got it. So if anyone's seen it, it's a like, I think either like a dark blue or, probably knowing me, just like a black phone case. If anyone has seen it out there, if anyone accidentally got it, please return it to me. Yes, it only is $1.12, but like I waited the 6 months to get it. It is a knockoff Apple one. So it's like the $50 ones that you can buy at the Apple store. I got it for actually $1.12. I do have to say this is probably the 7th one that I've gotten in 2 years because they break pretty easily. But again, if you do that math, that's still like under $15. So I've still saved like $35. That was quick math if I got it right. Someone correct me on that. But yeah, so if anyone's seen my AliExpress package, I mean, it's kind of, it's kind of the risk that you take ordering something from AliExpress. I mean, probably every 5 or so packages, like, they just don't show up. But it's fine. It's like a membership fee. I had to pay the $1 membership fee to the AliExpress club, but it's a cover. It's a cover. But yes, back to my books that I read. I'll just go through the list. I read The Last to Vanish, which this one was the one that I was sent, and by sent I mean an ebook copy of it was sent to me, because I asked for one, not because I was cool enough to just receive it. But I liked it. It's hard to give a review of a book because I don't want to spoil it, but I gave that one a 3. Then I read The House Across the Lake. That one was very good. That one was, it was one of those books where you think you know what's happening, and then they add like a twist that you could have never guessed. So it's not really a guessable twist unless you're like a psycho, but that was pretty good. Also, I'm the worst at guessing twists. Like, I see nothing coming. I completely fall for any like red herring, anything that they tell me. I mean, it's 99%, it's always like the husband that did it. So I'm always suspicious. I'm like, it's you. And then like half the time it is, half the time it's not. But yeah, so that one was really good. I'll just give you, I read quite a few books. Some of them were extremely boring. I'll just give you the ones that I like. So The House Across the Street, The Lake or whatever. Survive the Night, that was a good one. That was about, it was basically, the whole thing was a PSA for don't get in the car with strangers. I think we all probably knew that. I enjoyed that one. What else was good? Oh, The It Girl. Not about me, not my biography. But that one was okay. That one was, it was one of those books where like the first 75% was about basically what the synopsis on the back of the book is. Like, it took us 3/4 of the way to get to the part where the book actually feels like it starts. But that was pretty good. Like, it was a nice, like, I guess it was more of a mystery. I would recommend that. It was a lot of people making very dumb decisions, but the twist was actually really good. I'd never read a twist like that. So yeah, I would say those three. Oh, I also read The Last Thing He Told Me, which was pretty good. It was like a simple plot. Like, it was maybe not the most original, but I didn't mind it. I think that one's pretty popular. Yeah, so I would say those 4, pretty good. I actually have, in our next few episodes, I have some Halloween, some spooky books and movies that I'm going to review. So that'll probably be more so content recap stuff for the next few weeks. Because after this week, after our Thanksgiving episode, we're full steam ahead with Halloween. And then only a few weeks till Christmas. So get ready. We're going to be recapping holiday content basically to the end of the year. And I can't wait for the Hallmark movies to start, because that will definitely be recapping some of those. I have to find out what the good ones are. I mean, it's all the same movie. We've talked about this before, but we're gonna do some of that. That'll be fun. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to another episode of me essentially talking about nothing. I really appreciate you spending my time with me, whether that's 2 people or 3 people or 100 people. Have a great Thanksgiving, either now or in like 6 weeks if you're in a country that does, or never if you're in a country that does not have Thanksgiving. You know what? If you're in a country that does not celebrate Thanksgiving, I invite you to celebrate the Canadian Thanksgiving as a really a star Canadian, as you know, a notable Canadian, a Canadian alumni. I invite you, I welcome you to be thankful for the next few days, and then we can get back to our complaining. But yeah, have a great day. I guess this is Thursday. Have a great weekend. You know, we're almost at Friday, which is just the day before Saturday. And yeah, we, meaning me, we'll see you next week. Bye.